us today is Cliff Fitzhenry, the Chief Executive Officer of DY6 Metals, listed on the ASX with the ticker DY6. Well, thank you very much for joining us today, Cliff, for the first time. How are you?
Yeah, morning. Thanks very much for having me. No, I'm good. Yeah, very well.
Well, good to be speaking to you. With it being the first time you're on StockBox here, I wonder if you can perhaps just introduce the company, give us the elevator pitch or the high-level overview, if you can.
Yeah, no, 100%. So, yeah, I'm the CEO of DY6 Metals. We're an ASX-listed junior exploration company. We're very much a diversified African exploration company focused on critical metals in Africa. We've got a portfolio of rare earth element projects in Malawi. And the new focus for the company is the Rutile and the heavy mineral sands projects in Cameroon. So we're active in both those jurisdictions, but the flagship and the focus is very much the Rutile, central Rutile project in central Cameroon.
Okay, so the focus now has that shifted recently to the Rutile and heavy mineral sands? And what was the rationale for sort of focusing on that rather than the Malawi project?
Yeah, so the company IPO'd in mid-2023 on the back of the Malawian rare earth portfolio, with rare earth prices coming off a bit during the last year. In 2024, we were on the lookout for new critical metals projects in Africa. Just a bit on my experience, I was ex-Sovereign Metals. I was part of the discovery team there of the Cassia Tier 1 Rutile graphite project in Malawi.
Okay.
And yeah, I was part of the vendor group for this project portfolio in Cameroon. So we did the deal with DY6 Metals in May of this year with the initial portfolio with the 4 licenses making up the Central Rutile project, plus the Douala project, which is a classic beach heavy mineral sands project. We then did a second deal where we added to the portfolio at the Central Rutile project. That portfolio now sits at just under 6,000 kilometers squared. And then I joined the company. I transitioned from technical consultants through to CEO. And we did a $4.6 million capital raise in mid-July at market price. So it's been a very eventful few months. But yeah, we're very optimistic and excited about our current project portfolio in Cameroon.
Okay, good. Well, I want to talk about that in a moment. You mentioned you're from Sovereign. I know that story quite well. But before we move on to Cameroon, and of course the news as well about the new acquisition, just on Malawi, there was news just a couple of days ago as well, I think, on what's going on there with some of the follow-up exploration you've been doing. And there were some graphics put in the press release. I don't know if it's worth just briefly just talking about them, if we can, just to sort of go over what they're all about. So just maybe in a few minutes, this is obviously the high-level snapshot, isn't it, of the location? But this is the one that's more interesting. I mean, it's quite obvious that circular almost deposit you can sort of see from the satellite view. So I wonder if you can perhaps just take us through where this is at the moment, this project, and what the next steps are.
No, 100%. So this is the Tundulu project. So geologically, it's a carbonatite intrusion in southern Malawi. It's very close to Lindian Metals' Kangankunde project. So it's a rare earth elements project. There's been some historic drilling done in the past on this project by another company. We've also done a bit of drilling in the last couple of years on this project. We've got some good rare earth elements numbers in these drill intercepts, as well as high-grade gallium numbers as well. We did a study where we looked at historic drilling intercepts, and we noted a number of high-grade gallium numbers. The project was looked at previously for hard rock phosphate, and it's a very prospective project, very prospective geologically. And there's quite a bit of work that we're going to be doing and looking at in this project. We've done a bit of metallurgical test work on it as well. But yeah, we just did an update announcement where we are getting our boots back on the ground there and doing a low-cost, high-impact exploration campaign, just following up on the historic high rare earth and high gallium numbers on the project.
Okay. So you're doing low-cost exploration because you're focusing now more on the Cameroon assets. Just a final thought on that. Rare earths prices have come off. There's companies we speak to where they were in rare earths, but they're now looking for more low-hanging fruit. Fluorospar, for one example, actually in Malawi as well, the company Altona Rare Earths. I don't know if you have any fluorospar credits in your project, but I think it's quite a good thing to do to perhaps just keep the rare earth elements on the back burner while the prices are suppressed and follow other opportunities. Do you agree?
No, exactly, and we know what we've got in these two projects. We've actually got 3 projects, rare earth element projects in Malawi, and there's definitely some good geological potential on these projects. So our aim is to just do some exploration work, keep them ticking over, focus on high impact work and news flow on these projects. But we are looking at our options as well for these projects, and we do have a few other companies in our data room at the moment. So we will be assessing our options, but we think they're very prospective. But as we mentioned, the focus is very much on the Cameroonian rutile portfolio at the moment, which we see as a world-class opportunity.
Okay, well, that's interesting. So let's talk about that. You've, of course, had the news. I think you've now expanded your total rutile footprint, if you like, to 9,000 square meters. You say world-class, and you've come from Sovereign Metals, who also do have a world-class. So, I mean, yeah, I don't want to make, well, it's nice to make comparisons, but I mean, you're confident in saying world-class at this stage?
Yeah, I know. We see it as that rutile province of Central Cameroon. We see it as a very exciting, globally significant emerging rutile province. I think everything that we have in Central Cameroon mimics what we had in Central Malawi for the Cassia project. So we've got the right bedrock geology, which is the source of the rutile. We've got that deep in situ weathering profile. All the key indicators are there. As I mentioned, I was part of the initial vendor group for these projects. So, after my time at Cassia, and I really enjoyed my time there. We took it, from discovery to maiden MRE in 18 months. And the current resource at the moment is 1.8 billion tons at 1% rutile and 1.4% graphite. So very much a tier 1 project in every aspect. What we saw in Cameroon excites me a lot. And the aim, and we've been very clear about that, is to target these similar type tier 1 residual rutile deposits. And we're getting set up in country. We're busy building and growing our local workforce, and we're setting up with our own drilling equipment and teams and building our own mineral sands laboratory. So, very excited about what we've seen so far in country, and looking forward to really unlocking our project portfolio in the country.
Okay. So you didn't fancy staying and following the success story of Sovereign then? You decided to sort of go and pursue something on your own terms?
Yeah, so I'm an exploration geo, so I like to make new discoveries. So as soon as bulk sampling and metallurgical test work starts, that's the sign for me to go out back into the bush and make new discoveries. So that's what excites me.
Okay. Well, that's good. So, I mean, how are you feeling about this project in terms of making? I mean, you already say the rutile is there. You've expanded your footprint. You're clearly feeling confident. What have you got to do then to build on that deposit and make it economical?
So it's still early stage at the moment. So the first point is all our licenses are currently in application stage. So we are going through a process to get those applications granted. So we are working through our in-country partners. It's a very transparent process that happens with the newly formed mining committee in Cameroon. So we're very confident about getting those licenses and the full portfolio of licenses granted. All the initial work that we've done so far has been very positive. I've done a few trips into the country and been on the ground. We've taken a number of samples. We've done a bit of auger drilling as well. And we've panned the material. We've seen the HM. We've seen the rutile. We released some numbers last week of our very first reconnaissance sampling that we did on the project. There was no systematic nature to it. There was no targeting work done. And even in those samples, we saw high-grade rutile, 1.57% and a 2.1%. That's over 1 meter auger intervals. So that was very encouraging. And over a large strike extent as well. So we are in the middle of a large soil sampling campaign across the full project license area. It's obviously a very large project area, so we want to make sure that we covered the full project area. And then we're going to use that to obviously focus in on our higher grade rutile areas and our rutile anomalies. And we'll focus our drilling on those high grade areas and aim to drill that out. And then it will be, in country sample processing through our own mineral sands laboratory Yaoundé.
Okay.
So very exciting few months up ahead.
Okay, so what do the next few months look like in terms of a roadmap then? You've got to get those applications. Well, they're in now, so hopefully they get approved. And then you're doing soil sampling. Would you look to get on the ground and do some more significant exploration? And how well is the company sort of set up to do that in terms of planning and also funding?
Yeah, no, 100%. So first of all, we did complete 24 holes of reconnaissance drilling on our 2 central licenses, the Nsimbo and Alamba licenses. So those holes, we used the local drilling contractor, and we drilled 11-meter deep holes. So 11 meters deep times 24 auger holes. Those samples are currently being processed in country. The laboratory is not up and running yet. We are in process there. So we are sending these samples to South Africa for analysis in the commercial laboratory. So we will be reporting on those assays and mineral assemblage work in about 6 weeks' time. But the next step will be the license granting, which will be a major de-risker for the company. But we're very much forging ahead. So we've appointed a country manager for Cameroon, a Cameroonian national with a lot of experience throughout Africa. Made a number of discoveries, a 2 million ounce gold deposit in Tanzania, and a few other discoveries. So a very strong track record. And we are currently building the Cameroonian team under him, under his leadership. And yeah, we've ordered our own hand auger, heavy duty hand auger equipment, which will enable us to carry out in country drilling with our own drilling teams and be able to drill deep holes, which is very important. And we are currently setting up the mineral sands lab. So we've got a warehouse and the rent secured for that lab. And we're currently setting that up. So we'll soon be able to drill all our drilling in-house with our own teams and process all our samples in country.
Okay. So by the end of the year, then everything's going to be Cameroon. You'll have your teams established. You'll hopefully have your licenses granted, and you'll be working hard on the ground.
100%. So license granting I think will be in the next few weeks, and then it's as soon as we set up in country, it's going to be flat out drilling. So we'll be processing all those the soil samples in country. So we're about halfway through that 700 sample campaign. And that's going to help us define the drilling and where we drill first. But once we start drilling, it's going to be flat out drilling and country sample processing.
Okay. And obviously, it is early stage, as you said there. Do you get a feeling for the prospectivity of the project at the moment? Do you think it's going to be, as you say, you said world-class rutile. Do you think the heavy mineral sands will be very important? Do you think you'll even find graphite like Sovereign did? I mean, what's the sort of feeling you're getting?
No, very, very optimistic and very excited about the project. Everything that I've seen on the ground looks very positive. So starting from the weathering profile, everything that we've seen in road cuts and exposures and things like that matches the weathering profile that we had at Cassia. So topsoil, ferruginous pedolith, mottled clay, saprolite, it all follows that same weathering profile. As we are able to start drilling deeper, we are actually seeing graphites in the saprolite. So that's a strong positive as well. Everything we've seen so far is very positive. And we're very clear that the Central Rutile project is our flagship project, but we also have the second project at the coast, the Douala Basin Heavy Mineral Sands project. That's also very prospective, but it will be a bit different to your central project, especially the mineral assemblage. We were expecting some rutile in there, but it will likely be an ilmenite dominant assemblage, but also very good logistics linked to that project. So it's right next to the deep water ports of Douala. So that's another project which we'll be working over as well. Okay,
good. Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Cliff Fitzhenry, for giving us that overview introduction to the company today, to DY6 Metals. So thank you very much for your time.
Perfect. Yeah, thanks very much.
If you enjoyed this interview, then give us a thumbs up, a like or a retweet. Subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Twitter and hit that notification bell to be the first to know when we release new content. There's loads of great content on our website too, across all our programs at stockboxmedia.com. Thank you for watching.